So I'm here in the motors lab, experiment 9, the synchronous motor part 1. One of your tasks is to examine the construction of the three-phase machine, paying particular attention to the motor, slip rings, rheostat, connection terminals and the wiring. And so this is the machine. The stator windings have been wired out to the front here. Terminals 1 and 4, 2 and 5, 3 and 6. You see their rating is 120 volts at 1 amp, and so that is a phase rating, a phase voltage rating. And the motor's ratings are down here, and you'll notice that says 208 volt because that gives you a line voltage, all right? 0.8 amps. So the windings are rated at a little bit more than what the motor's expected to draw at full load, so that makes sense, right? The rotor circuit, the picture is drawn here on the face of it. The rheostat, the switch S, terminals 7 and 8. And, on the back here is your rheostat, which adjusts the exciting current in the rotor and the wiring here, and it all goes back up under the machine. The bearings and the pulley that the belt goes on. And here now, you'll see the rotor, and that rotor is, you can almost see the 4 poles, and the windings are wrapped very clearly around just 2 poles, and so LabVolt makes that into a 4-pole rotor circuit. And you can see the stator windings there as well. If you turn the machine around and look at the back of it, you can clearly see the 2 slip rings. And the question says, can the brushes be moved? And so the brush here and brush here, they can be removed. There's a place there to remove them so that they can be replaced, but they're not adjustable, right? There's no reason for them to be adjustable like on the DC machine. Now, so before we stop the constructional part, look here, this stator, identical to the one in the skim, and here is the rotor removed from the machine, and you see the bearing here very clearly, the partial squirrel cage winding, well, the ribs on it that act as a fan anyway, and the end ring, and the 4 poles there, right, with the two windings wrapped around them, which will make that into a 4-pole circuit. And on the reverse of that, you can see the other bearing here and the 2 slip rings. And you can see the slip rings are relatively worn, but that don't really hurt them. They're copper, and so they're nice and tough. And so the lab asked some questions about ratings, so I'm going to show you those again. The winding, the motor's ratings, and the rating of the rotor is, not really given as a current value, but just as a voltage there.